What's going on, Grizz Nation? Welcome into another Grizz Game Day update. Again, Katy Winge might be the person who comes on the absolute most. So thank you, Katy, for being on once again.
You got it. I'm happy to be here. So happy to talk some Grizz and Nuggets action tonight.
Yes, that game will tip off at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That's 7 o'clock if you're watching from Denver. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Dylan Brooks for the Grizzlies is questionable. John Morant, of course, out. For you guys, I think it's just Jeff Green who's questionable.
Yes, correct. Well, other than Jamal Murray, the Uge. The Uge are still out. Yes. Yes, they're still out. But yeah, Jeff Green, he's been dealing with some personal things, family related. And we thought he might be back last game. So giving him the time and space he needs to deal with some of that stuff. So we'll see if he's able to go tonight.
All right. Sounds good. Hope everything's good on his end. We're going to set the scene for this game. The Grizzlies are 3-0 against Denver this season. All of the games have been extremely close. That last one, Jokic went wild once again. What do we expect from him? 26, 11, and 12. Both teams now coming into this game off of a loss. And now, Katy, we talked about this just really quickly before we pressed record. The Grizzlies are locked in. They're second in the postseason no matter what. But tonight has a big implication for the Nuggets.
You know what's funny is that when we've been talking about this game and talking about Memphis and how great that they've been really all season long, you guys have been locked in, but you're still winning all the games. I know you said you're coming off of a loss, but it's one of those things where exact. But I mean, you're playing tough games, you're beating good teams. It's coming down to the wire, and a lot of it is just man, Memphis just refuses to lose, and they're still playing hard regardless of being locked in, regardless of knowing exactly kind of where they're going to be and what it's going to look like, and regardless of who's on the floor. Truly, the guys that come in and step up are playing great. It feels like your culture is so deep, and that players that do come into the rotation and do step into games, they fit so seamlessly. Mm-hmm. And obviously Memphis has given Denver a lot of problems this season, and that has a lot to do with John Morant and who he is, and Denver's inability to really keep quick guards in front. That's an area they really struggle with defensively. But just overall, Denver's defense has really struggled lately. And against a team like Memphis that scores so well and gets into the paint and can hit the three, Denver's got to figure out what to do defensively tonight. They have to really focus in and sharpen up that side of the basketball. Their offense has been good. Other than the last game that they played where they didn't even hit 100 points, they've been averaging close to 120, 130 points even early to start April. So I think the offense is finding its way just fine. The defense started off good at the beginning of the season, and now they kind of got to rein it in a little bit, especially against a really tough offensive opponent like Memphis is tonight.
Yes. So when you're talking about defense, then who are kind of the main guys that who Ja is out? That means Tyus is in, Zaire, Dez. I'm thinking of some of the guards. Who is that guard defender? Who's got to be that first guy to stop the initial drive?
I mean, we don't have one. That's kind of the problem. And I don't think Coach Malone, when he talks about Denver's defense, often says it's not on one guy. And that's a firm belief throughout the entire locker room. They try and work their defense on the string. So they have their help side rotations there early. They're often, they're trying to communicate through those. They're trying to do a bunch of different actions off of ball screens, whether that's, having the defender back, whether that's blitzing, whether that's, they just try and throw a lot of different things at different teams. And so I think, Aaron Gordon has been pretty good defensively, guarding typically the best player on the opposing team. Nikola Jokic has been phenomenal playing in the gap in those pick and rolls and just kind of hanging out in the paint. He's not like that, the huge rim protector that a lot of big men are, but he's so smart. His hand-eye coordination is so good. He's top 10 in blocks, he's top 10 in steals in the NBA, and a lot of people wouldn't expect that, but he's been really, really good playing kind of that in-between spot defensively. So now it's just a matter of not having him do all of that work. Can you contain one-on-one? Can you make somebody make a counter move instead of getting beat off of that first dribble? So when we asked a couple of players after the last game about what needs to change, it's anywhere from I don't know to we just need to focus and execute better. It's a pride thing. It's an effort thing more than it is a strategy, changing up schematically what they're doing. It's hey, we need to figure this out and find a way to get this done. And hopefully they can put something together on that side of the floor tonight.
So it's all focus, effort, heart. A win tonight clinches a playoff spot, gets you out of the play-in, yes?
Yes. So Memphis, not much to play for. Denver, everything to play for. 2 games remaining for the Nuggets. This game against Memphis, the Lakers on Sunday, and basically the magic number is 1. So one of these 2 games the Nuggets have to win in order to avoid to control their own destiny, right? There could be some other things that happen with Minnesota that could also allow Denver to clinch, but they have very much had the mantra of like, we want to be the ones to do this. This is about us taking advantage of the situation that we've created for ourselves. So yes, one of these 2, obviously they would like to get it done sooner rather than later. So in that last game for the Nuggets, they felt like they let one slip away. They really wanted to clinch in that last home game, but now they have 2 home games to win one. If they can find a way to get it done against the Grizz tonight, I know they do really want to do that.
Hey, at least they're both at home. That'll be nice. The Grizzlies are wrapping up their last road trip of the whole season. So.
Yeah. What's funny is that the Nuggets have been better on the road than at home for the first time in Denver Nuggets franchise history. Like everybody talks about the altitude advantage in Denver and how like usually their home record is so much better. They've won 25 road games and they've only won 22 home games. So they will win less. Even if they were to win these last 2 games, they will win less home games than road games. No one knows why. It's the most baffling thing for Nuggets fans. They're like, how are we better on the road than at home? But here we are. So we'll see. Yeah.
Let's get into end this. Just a few of the matchups that I think are going to be key, and you can agree, disagree. Yes. I think obviously to start the game, it will be Jokic and Steven Adams, but I do think that Jaren Jackson Jr. gets a shot at covering one of the guys in the running for the MVP. Last time these 2 teams played, I don't know if you remember this. This is at my home. Jokic went crazy. He had 34, 11, and 5. JJ also had 22 points, so he had a good game himself, but it was that last defensive. It wasn't a block, but it was like a hand up in Jokic's face, the miss, and then they got the W. So do you think there's some drama is such the wrong word. There's like,
yes.
You know,
excitement looking toward the matchup. I think that Jaren Jackson is so athletic and provides such a different matchup for Jokic that I really enjoy watching those 2 get after it. Steven Adams is Steven Adams. Like that's, you know what to expect with that one, right? Like, you know what's going to take place there. But I mean, I would be curious. Jokic doesn't really like, it doesn't matter who he's going against. He doesn't get like more excited for certain matchups. That's just not the way he is. Yeah. He's just like, whatever, I'll just play against whoever steps on the floor tonight. Yeah. But I do know that game in particular was one where Nuggets fans thought that Jokic got fouled. And so that was the one that came down to the last possession. Jokic had an opportunity to win that game for Denver. And I mean, they didn't call it. So good defense, I guess. Memphis found a way to win, right? And that's, I mean, so many games in this league come down to finding a way to win. And so I think the Nuggets would really like to get a win against Memphis this season. And who knows, like where the playoffs could potentially lead and matchups and how that could fall. But I think the Nuggets are approaching this as Memphis has given us problems all season long. How can we correct some of those problems and fix some of those habits against a really good team? Like, how do we get ourselves prepared and how do we get ourselves right? Thinking a little bit bigger picture here.
Yeah, prepare yourself for what is about to come in the season.
Yes.
My very last thing is that Will Barton there's always like one guy on the team that always has good games against Memphis, and I feel like that is Will Barton.
There's a reason for that. Yeah. I mean, he typically, I feel like that happens in Memphis because that's like his home away from home. Yeah. Going to school there, and he credits so much of who he is as a man and as a player to the people and the family that he built in Memphis. But I do think that he knows that those people are watching a little bit more when this matchup takes place. And so what I think might happen, and just given the way the last game went, the question mark through these like late season Nugget struggles have been who's going to run alongside Jokic at a consistent basis. And Barton has been very up and down. He's had stretches where he's had like 4 games of 18 points or more, and then he's had stretches where he's really struggled to make shots. And the last game for the Nuggets, he struggled to make shots. He made some big ones, but he also struggled. So I think he's going to want to bounce back from that game more than anything else. And there is such a point of emphasis right now for Denver on like, you guys have to make shots around Nikola because he can't do it all himself. You have to, especially when they're sending double and triple teams, in order to break those and to stop those from happening, you got to be able to knock down shots around him. So I know that Will Barton probably feels that way. Monte Morris did not shoot the ball great in the Nuggets last game, so I could see that happening. And then Aaron Gordon just making sure that he's aggressive and is playing downhill to start the game, not settling for outside shots. That's really important too, because a lot of times teams will play him like, oh no, you can have that shot, because they know they'd rather have him take that than get to the basket and throw down like he does. So playing to the strengths of the Denver Nuggets is something that they'll probably focus in on. And going up against a super athletic, really good Memphis team will be a big challenge.
I'm so excited for our 4th game tonight. Katie, thank you from the bottom of my heart once again for like the 4th
You got it.
season. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to do it anytime. Who knows if it'll be the last? We'll see.
Ooh, that's like such a good teaser to end this. Guys, remember, it is a late tip tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time. You can watch it on Bally Sports Southeast.